For years, our family has fought for the truth to come to light concerning his murder, and we'd like our father to receive the justice that he deserves.
That was one of Minister Malcolm X's daughter, Ilyasah Shabazz, speaking on a wrongful death lawsuit she and her family have filed against the CIA, or the alphabet boys and girls, okay? The CIA, the FBI, and the New York Police Department. The family of civil rights leader Malcolm X announced on the anniversary of his 1965 assassination that they intend to sue the United States government entities, including the FBI, the CIA, and New York Police Department for $100 million. That all? Alleging that they played a part in his death. I'm so glad that they are doing this. This has been a long journey to seek justice surrounding the murder of Minister Malcolm X. The circumstances surrounding Malcolm X's death have long been shrouded in mystery. Two men who were convicted of murdering the civil rights leader, the activist, were exonerated in 2021 after serving decades in prison, and the New York District Attorney admitted that the case against them was flawed and that law enforcement at the time withheld evidence. This is coming from the Washington Post. And thank you, Annabelle, for this reporting. Now, y'all know I want to add some Turnerism to this. At the time, they knew that this was wrong, but they did it anyway. Many of you know that the FBI infiltrated many of the Black civil rights organizations. They infiltrated the Black Muslim organizations to the Nation of Islam. They infiltrated them. And they had other Black people. They had Black people infiltrate. That's the only way they could infiltrate, to sow seeds of discord. They knew that this was wrong at that time. But I am so glad to see Malcolm X's family, led by one of his daughters, saying, hey, we gonna fight all the way until we get justice for our father, for our loved one, and for our family. Now, the office also acknowledged law enforcement's failing in the case. It said that the FBI and the NYPD did not honor their obligation to disclose exculpatory evidence to prosecutors and the accused, including information that implicated other suspects, that identified witnesses who failed to identify defendant Islam, and that revealed witnesses to the FBI informants. Again, unfortunately, they used Black people to infiltrate these organizations. The move renewed public interest in the case and fueled long-held conspiracy theories about the possible culpability of law enforcement, particularly of the New York Police Department. And we know that J. Edgar Hoover, unfortunately, had his hands all up in this. Attorney Ben Crump made abundantly clear the point of this lawsuit, and he did this at a press conference. At a news conference, civil rights attorney Ben Crump appeared to put an even finer point on it. Asked directly by a journalist if he thought government agencies were involved in the conspiracy to assassinate Malcolm X, Crump replied, "This is what we are alleging. Yes." Ms. Shabazz, one of the daughters of Minister Malcolm X, reminded everyone of the importance of this lawsuit. She said the truth about the circumstances leading to the death of our father is important, not only to his family, but to many followers, many admirers, many who look to him for guidance, for love. David, your thoughts?
Well, I'm familiar with Benjamin Crump because of all the lawsuits that he's currently filing on behalf of so many people who were wronged by police. So it's not as if he has plenty of time on his hands. When he gets involved in something, you know that there's got to be something there. This is a serious effort. And it takes a lot of courage on his part, a lot of courage on Malcolm X's family's part to try to go after this. It will not, of course, be an easy lawsuit because this is something that happened 50 years ago, but kudos to them, because I think it's important that we do take another look at this and we do try to, let's unearth all of the government records that are there. We've got a lot of people in charge of the FBI and various New York Metropolitan Police Department who I think have a vested interest now in coming clean and making sure their institutions come clean with all the documents they have. Let's put it all out there and let's deal with the truth. Let's let the chips fall where they may. And if it turns out that the government was involved and the New York Police Department were involved, okay, let's have some accountability and responsibility. But to continue to try to sweep this under the rug, as so many institutions have been doing for so many decades, I think has done us all a disservice.
Yeah, amen to that, David. And if the family receives the justice it deserves, it would be a clear and continued indicator of law enforcement agencies targeting freedom fighters. And we know in this country we have a history of that. Some people that participated in Klan rallies and other such things, a lot of them worked for government. Some of them were elected. Some of them were chiefs of police. Some of them were sheriffs. These are irrefutable facts within American history, and we gotta face it, not run from it, not whitewash it. Let's just go ahead and face it and call it what it is. So I agree with David. This, let's get the cleanse going. Let's just go ahead and find out who was standing where, who's culpable, and make this right. Another glaring example is the murder of Fred Hampton. We know unequivocally the FBI killing of Fred Hampton, a reminder for young organizers. Government officials and elected leaders did not want to face nor accept the truths that were presented by people like Chairman Fred Hampton, by people like Minister Malcolm X. And there are those in power today who still refuse to do so. I want to close out with this evergreen and powerful reminder from the one and the only Minister Malcolm X.
That we're making progress in this country and worldwide?
No. I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that the blow made. And they haven't even begun to pull the knife out, much less try and heal the wound. They won't even admit the knife is there.
There it is. It was relevant when he spoke those words, and it is just as relevant today. We will definitely keep you posted on this story.